What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Over the Boards. We've got the whole crew here again today. Looks like Scarata might have some hockey on in the background, maybe hockey highlights. Maybe it's a game that's currently going on as we watch the St. Louis Blues score a goal in behind him. Scarata, what's going on, buddy? How are you doing? How was your weekend?
Oh, not too much. It's been a nice weekend. We're reliving good times behind us, as opposed to the somber times that are now. So, yeah, you can enjoy a little bit of 2019 highlights.
2019 highlights.
Yeah, throw it back.
Right on, right on. Get up to anything this weekend?
Oh, let's see. Nothing too much. Watched the UFC card last night. It was decent. It was there. Some good performances. Sean O'Malley winning again. I don't think anybody expected otherwise, but nevertheless, no, it was been a pretty chill weekend.
Right on, right on. And then before we kick it over to RTC, Def Grab coming in with 5 gifted is absolutely insane. He's done that every show, I think, so far. Def Grab, thank you so much for the support, my guy. But on the other side here, we've got RTC. And now listen, guys, this guy was so close to getting his green screen ready to go. And actually, maybe this is his green screen, and we just don't actually know that. But RTC, what's up, bud? How's your weekend going? Is everyone feeling better? I know last week people were sick. How's things going, pal?
Yeah, everybody's back up to full health. Doing good. Just a busy weekend around the house cleaning and everything, even though it doesn't look like it behind me. Yeah, nice relaxing. Ordered a pizza for the day, and it's snowing out after being 70 all week.
What'd you get on your pizza?
So, pepperoni, mushroom, and onion.
Pepperoni, mushroom, and onion. Ooh, Scarata does not like that. He had a look of disgust on his face, bro. Talk about it, Scarata. Tell me what's wrong.
There's something fundamentally wrong about consuming a fungus.
I feel like you're in like a very small group that would be that. Oh, we lost RTC's video, but go ahead, continue. I will fix that.
Okay, listen. Mushrooms. Seriously? We're eating mushrooms. Why? Stop eating mushrooms. Don't eat mushrooms. It's a fungus. It comes out of the ground. It grows on things that are dying. Don't do it. Stop.
Stop.
I'm gonna look the camera straight in the eyes when I say this. I'm gonna put this up here. The mushrooms, they grow on things that are dead. They grow on logs that are dying. They're wet, are dead. For your own safety and my safety as well, please stop consuming mushrooms. Onions, fine. I can live with onions. I'm not really much of an onion guy. I can respect it. Mushrooms. Let's end this now.
I love
Please
that.
be done with them.
I love that PSA from Scrata.
Thank
I
you for
love
coming.
mushrooms, by the way, and I love mushrooms on pizza. I love mushrooms with my steak. I'm good with mushrooms on pizza. I am very good with mushrooms on pizza. RTC, you're still here in our Discord chat. Now, video, we've lost your video.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on. Working on it. I am here, though.
All right, I'm going to disconnect you, and then maybe if you rejoin through that link, and I'm going to talk about me. My weekend was pretty good, pretty low-key. I've got my little 4-year-old doing some, they call it ninja class. It's like early age jujitsu or judo or something. I don't know, but I love it. I love it. The guy that runs the class is so hard on these little 4-year-olds. And not like he has fun with them, but like follow the rules when you're in class, right? Like bow and stuff and like show respect. And when he tells you to sit down, make sure you sit down. Like, I love it. It's so good for my 4-year-old too. My 3-year-old daughter joined, or 2-year-old daughter, I guess. She's not 3. What am I saying? She's joined too. So 2 of them running around during that. It's great on Saturdays. Wipes them out for the rest of the day and allows me to to have a pretty chill day the rest of it. And then this morning got absolutely smacked in my men's league hockey game, so wasn't a good morning for me. But hey, here we are, getting it rocking and rolling. RTC update on clicking that link.
It says that it's dead.
The link is dead.
Yes.
We're going to send you a new link. Generate a new link, copy. Let's send this over to RTC. Don't worry. Hey, guys, we made it to episode 3 without any major issues here. So this is all right. This is okay.
We did make it this far.
That's pretty good. This is my first time ever doing like collab cam, like everybody getting on camera doing this. Like we've done pretty good, eh?
We do take those. We do take those.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's see if this link works for him. If not, we may need to reset the link again. I don't know what to do. I've actually never had this happen.
There we go.
Okay, okay.
There we go.
We've got him. Let's show him on stream. There he is. And we're back, baby, just like that. We'll have to cut that out of the VOD. Eh? Just cut that completely out so that nobody knows that we botched anything. So good. Hey, first error. First error, boys.
What did we botch?
Good job.
I don't think
First,
we didn't do anything wrong.
No. Exactly. But first one, let's celebrate that. Celebrate that as a team. All right, welcome back. Let's rock and roll. Let's do this. Okay. Let's hey, as we've started, normally we talk about the real NHL. We're gonna talk a lot, I think, today, just about the trade deadline, how we thought it went. I'm gonna say, out of all trade deadlines, it wasn't very, very eventful, and I feel like they're starting to get less eventful as the years go on. Now, there was some good trades. There were some decent trades. Anything you wanted to go through there, Scarata?
I think, there's a couple good ones. I think Florida did very good getting Tarasenko off the Senators and not really having to pay a lot to do it. Trying to see...
Decided he wanted to fucking play hockey again after he got traded. He must have really hated in Ottawa. He put 2 goals up yesterday.
I don't blame him. I mean, Ottawa's Ottawa, right? But I think for him, he knows he's got it in the tank. I mean, for as long as he was here in St. Louis, I mean, we all know how good of a player Vladimir Tarasenko can be, especially when fully healthy. That was part of the issue, kind of the last couple of years that he was here, is he was struggling to stay healthy. He was dealing with like a shoulder issue for a while, but I think good business by the Panthers. So they got him for a 4th round conditional pick and a 3rd round pick, and Ottawa went ahead and held 50% of his cap hit too. So
easy.
Yeah,
that's easy.
And for a guy like you said, just scored 2 goals last night, in a high-flying Panthers team that's already there, he's going to do just fine. When do we talk about Vegas? When do we talk about that now?
Go for it, buddy. Go for it. I know that Vegas was very, first episode we had a little discussion about Vegas, but go for it for sure. I'm really interested to hear what you have to say after how much you roasted them about their cap situation and what they were able to do at the deadline is fucking insane. Let's hear it.
I'm not
Scrap.
gonna roast Vegas too hard on this. I think they've done good business. I am, however, going to roast the San Jose Sharks. What are we doing in San Jose? What? I am confused. Let me pull up their cat-friendly page right now. Because what are we doing here? We've got... You hung on to $1.3 million worth of Tomas Hertl. Call it 1.4 million. It is pretty much that. For the next 6 years. You are paying a guy to play for a divisional opponent, or sorry, not a divisional opponent, but a conference opponent, for the next 6 years to play against you. And all you have to show for it is David Edstrom, a 1st-round pick in a draft where, this isn't like last year where the first 5 picks could all be generational talents. This is not going to be the case this year.
But you're not getting a first 5 pick taking Vegas's 1st round pick.
Exactly.
Either, though, right? Like you're getting a rounder.
Yeah, but just to put it in perspective, like that's just we aren't at that level this year of this draft, and you still send back 2 third-round picks.
Listen. Is Hurdle going to make a big deal in Vegas? I am a firm believer. Like, listen, he plays in the NHL. He's a great hockey player. I'm a firm believer that I'm going to say I think he's overrated. I don't think he's going to be that big of an impact player.
See,
that might be a hot take, but like somebody in San Jose has to score goals.
I'm going to go the other way because of these highlights right here against the Sharks. Tomas Hertl killed us the entire series. Killed us.
Yeah, well,
you put a good team around him. When were the last time the Sharks were good?
Oh, I don't know. They always lost in the playoffs, right? They always had a great team, never made it anywhere.
All right, 2020.
Sure.
And he's played around terrible players for the last 4 years. Let's be completely honest. I mean,
somebody has to
San Jose have not been competing, right? And he's still a good player, so I think he's going to be incredible on Vegas. Now he's going to start out on LTIR because that's how they have to make these work, and he is still injured, and I don't think he's coming back anytime soon. But when Game 1 starts of the playoffs, I think him and Mark Stone are going to be just rearing and ready to go.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, and I mean they did pretty good, right? They got him. You just mentioned Hurdle, right? So they also got Hannafin, right? A couple of days before that, they went and got Hannafin from Calgary. I mean March 5th they went and got Mantha too, but like those are 3 pretty decent pickups to lead into playoffs. Now, are they sitting in a really good spot? Like, if they locked in, like, are they going to be a team?
No,
if these guys sit around on IR, is there a risk that this team could not make playoffs and made these moves?
Yeah. There's a big risk. I mean, they are not. I mean, looking at the standings right now, they're tied with LA for the final divisional spot in the Pacific, and it's really themselves and the Predators. They're in a much better spot, I think, this week when we were kind of glossing over it last week.
Yeah.
Because we were looking, especially going into the trade deadline, a lot of people are like, what if Vegas doesn't even make it? And this last week, they've done well. And, kind of their competition's fallen off a little bit. 75 points tied with the LA Kings, 77 points. So the first wild card spot right now going to the Nashville Predators, who've been on an absolute heater, 9-0-1 their last 10. Good Lord. Yeah. So not sure what they're cooking down there in Nashville. But at the same time, I mean, if Vegas can get into the playoffs, they're going to be a problem. Now, they could run into the absolute buzzsaw that is the Vancouver Canucks, especially if they end up in that second wild card spot. So we'll see how that plays out. But there's the chance. I mean, you've got St. Louis, Minnesota, the Flames all sat on 67 points. Seattle's
got a
in
decent
there too.
lead on these guys, man. They got 8 points.
Yeah,
the next team,
that's
right?
that's a cushion.
Just gotta win every other game or something like that. They'll be fine, right? Like
I mean, they could play 500 hockey and probably make it in.
That's it, exactly, for sure. And hey, RTC, bro, the Sabres making some moves, baby. How you feeling as a big Sabres fan with these guys?
I don't know. It's bittersweet. Obviously, we stink. But you want to root for Casey Middlestat and Kyle Oposo. People have a lot of success once they leave Buffalo. It's not a secret. I hope that they go on a good run and everything. It'd be cool to see those guys finally get what they deserve. Lord knows they worked for it and put up with just awfulness their entire career, basically, at this point, minus Okposo with his time in New York. But we'll see. We suck. Sell the franchise as far as I'm concerned. It's just pathetic.
Oh, you gotta have
it's just pathetic.
Come on. Hey, did you see Middlestat's comments after his first practice with Colorado?
Yeah, I've never sweat that much or something like that, or it's been a long time since I sweat that much.
Do you think that was an accident, or do you think he's saying it's kind of shit in Buffalo?
No,
cares.
It's definitely shit. I'm not a professional hockey player, but I do know when I see bad hockey, it's bad hockey, and that's what this is. Got a whole team. I mean, we re-signed, Tage Thompson and Dylan Cousins and, all these people that we thought were, the shit. and we're still not going to make fucking playoffs. Giving them a shit ton of money to do absolutely nothing. I mean, Tage was hurt, so that's fair, obviously. But it's just ridiculous. We have this crazy young team that we do absolutely nothing with. On paper, this could be like, the Miracle on Ice team. Like, we have all the talent in the world. Our defensive core, especially with the addition to Byram, like, on the back end, is just fucking crazy for people that are under, 24 years old, I think. But it doesn't matter because we can't ever win games. So, I don't know.
I was having this conversation the other day with a buddy of mine at work, and we were debating whether it's worth giving guys who are young, like your Tage Thompsons, like your Dylan Cousins. I'm looking at the Sabres cap friendly page right now. Dylan Cousins is making 7.1 a year for the next however many years, a lot of years by the looks of it. The guy's 23 years old. He should still have some arbitration years available. So the question is, how do we feel about paying guys, Dylan Cousins, or like with the Blues of Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou, guys who had arbitration years, these big early contracts to get them locked in and to buy out those arbitration years?
I think everybody kind of has their own way of doing stuff, right? Like I wouldn't do that unless I was guaranteed. I know this guy's going to be something, man. Like there's always that next guy up, right? Like I don't know. I wouldn't be giving those young guys that big a contract. But then if he turns out, it's like now you're paying him 10 million a year, more than that probably by the time you actually have to pay him, right? Like so it's yeah, I guess it's an investment of some sort, right? Yeah. But fuck, if the guys aren't working hard at practice, they're never gonna get better, dude. What's the message being sent in Buffalo, right? If Middlestat said he just went to Colorado and it was the first time he sweat at a practice in how long, what the fuck are they doing? Right? Like I don't know. It's just that comment was like, oh, interesting. Another comment that I saw after the deadline that was quite interesting was after the Jake Gensel trade to Carolina, and Crosby, giving his boy a lot of love, and then being asked about what kind of message that sends from the management. He says, "I don't know." Right? He said, "I don't know." You should ask them that question. You can't be happy, eh? That's his boy.
It makes me wonder. It's like, Carlo Poso, like, I'm a fan. Obviously, he doesn't have many years left in the league. Why not send him to a team that, he's going to go on a run with, right? Mm-hmm. And, like, I felt the same for Crosby. Obviously, Pittsburgh, everything else, yada, yada, yada. But, like, his years are getting, limited. Why not send him?
I think
he clearly wants it.
I don't think he wants to leave, man. I don't think he does. I think that's, like, now this might change the way he thinks. I don't know. But I think it's always his call. I'll tell you that right now. If Crosby wants to leave, they'll move him. That guy's done a lot for that organization. He continues to do that, and I think he feels that he's a Penguin for life, right? You got to think, like, when he came into the league, taken in by Mario Lemieux, right? Like, I think he bleeds fucking Penguins, man. Like, I think that's him, right? But I'll tell you what, fucking Kyle Dubas, with his track record in Toronto, coming over to Pittsburgh and doing that, and if that's something that's going to piss Crosby off, who knows what's going to happen, man. But he didn't seem too happy that his boy got moved. Yeah. And then Carolina did pretty good too, right? They also pick up Kuznetsov, who's, I think, coming off of the IR / like, was he on the substance abuse program?
No, Kuznetsov got waived.
Did he? I thought he may have been
a game or two for Hershey.
Yeah, he played in the but he did get traded. He did get traded to Carolina. Could be a good move.
Third round pick, 50% retained.
Yeah,
so can't complain with that.
Yeah, so he looks like he was in the lineup with the Canes just recently too. So that right away. So that's good for them. Yeah, see, I think he was on the substance abuse program.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So, and he was on IR for a while because of that, I believe. So then I think the comeback was starting him in the AHL, and he probably, he's probably like, "F you guys, not a chance," right? And then probably caused some issues. See you never. So yeah, there you go. Like, why would you send a guy, like, I get it for, like, conditioning, but that guy's been a star for your organization for so long, and I would assume he doesn't want to play down there. So you're expected to get that. My boys, pretty happy with my guys, man. Bolts go and get Duclair and Dumba. I like that a lot. I think Duclair fits
Yeah.
that Tampa Bay system really well. Dumba's a good fill-in while they have problems on the back end. And they didn't have to pay much for Dumba, but I mean, we'll see what happens. But pretty happy there. And then the big rig, Patty Maroon going to the Boston Bruins just to absolutely beat the wheels off of the Leafs in the first round. And I've never been so excited in my life for that one. I can't believe that guy's still getting moved. I still can't believe that. Same with Okposo. I didn't even realize that guy was still playing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Okposo was the team captain too at that. But yeah, no, Patrick. I mean, back-to-back cups. Not many people could say that. That's impressive. Obviously, it wasn't like he did it all himself or anything, but still, that's just an awesome, you know, uh, experience
He got
factor to
cups
have
3
in the
years in a row.
locker room and stuff.
He got 3 in a row.
3, yeah.
Yeah.
Tampa, and St. Louis.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. No, he's it's interesting. He's a playoff guy, I guess. I don't know.
There
Man,
is
watching him in
something
Tampa, I was like,
poetic.
ooh, like, but he's pretty slow. But fuck, man, he's gonna go out and he's gonna hammer guys and he's gonna make people think about going into the corners, and it's gonna help the Bruins out for sure. And I think you just love to have him just going and hammering those Leafs around. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're guys like Pat Maroon are never going to be good in a one game environment. However, if you have to face that guy across 7 games, you're falling asleep thinking about taking the next shoulder check or the next little cross check from him, because it's not going to be fun, and you're going to wake up sore by game 5. I will tell you that, and that's where he comes into play. But there is something poetic about him getting traded to Boston for a playoff run.
There you go. And that is NHL talk. Let's move to our league. Let's rock and roll. Like, we are through week 1, so we can't say it's just week 1 anymore. Now it's just only 2 weeks, guys. It's a long season. Who cares, right? Who cares? Let's start off with the NHL. Big week there with these guys. So we saw some teams, and this is why week 1 was just week 1. We saw some teams going up, some teams going down, having some complete opposite weeks. Any takeaways that you guys had from the NHL from last week?
I just wanted to give a shout out. When I was going to pull some things or whatever for this, I don't want to take away from what Messiah and Cutting Corners have done. They produced 2 really great articles for the NHL. I highly suggest everybody go over there and read them. That definitely took them a lot of time and effort, and they did a fantastic job with it. It's got all the great stats in there and everything else. Huge shout out to those guys. Every tier needs much more of that. Great write-ups.
Yeah, big time. I went and saw those. Definitely put some work into that, and some great write-ups there. So you're right. Definitely go check that out. Scarata NHL last week. Any storylines? Anything that you wanted to call out?
Well, I gotta throw this out there. The Central Division, I can't tell if they're all really good and just beating up on each other, or it's not quite a great division. And I say this, there's 3 teams, the Avalanche, Stars, and Blues, all tied on 22 points. The Nashville Predators on 21 points. The Winnipeg Jets on 19. All of those teams coming off some sort of losing streak. All of them have at least lost their last game. I also put it this way, where I'm not entirely sure if this is the division to watch. The goal differentials. Avalanche +8, Stars +10, the Blues +1, everybody else minus. Everybody else is minus. The division leader has only scored 44 goals. That is second to last in the division, only ahead of the Arizona Coyotes, who sit bottom. So I feel like there's some weird stuff happening in this Central Division. I'm gonna just leave it at that. There's some weird, funky things taking place in this division, or there's some really good defense being played. And clearly in Colorado, that's the case.
Yeah, only 36 against, right? Like, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
After 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
right? Good. I think there's some dangerous teams in this conference. I think there's some good teams in this division. Sorry, but you're right. It's tight, and yeah, I mean, it looks like it's close, right? Like, it's fucking pretty close here too. I'd love to see
Oh, yeah.
that. Um, But you're right. There's no like, yeah, I guess like some of the other ones have like a clear top gun team, right? Like well, maybe not. I guess not. But like Western has
There's
a
not
couple.
there hasn't been a lot of teams. This is for all the divisions. There hasn't been a lot of teams yet that have separated themselves from the
Yeah.
pack. I mean, the largest gap in a division lead is the Flyers over the Hurricanes by 3 points.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it. We're only 2 weeks in, but sometimes you see teams start to pull 4, 5, 6 point gaps already at this point in the season. This isn't going to be the case. I think all of these divisional races, bar some funky weird trades taking place and guys heating up and guys cooling off. There's not going to be an easy division in this at all. I can't see it happening. And you look at the goal differentials too. These aren't out of hand. These are not out of hand. They are all close games. The best goal differential in the league right now, the Flyers at plus 17. But then you have the Canadians on plus 16. They sit fourth in their division. So, yeah, it's going to be close.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, 2 weeks. I don't know if you're gonna necessarily see anyone pull away as like the top dog. It's tough, right? Like you still haven't played everybody yet, and it's gonna take some time before that. Now you can see who the clear bottom teams are. Like that's easy to tell, right? You got CBJ at the bottom again, their division with 13 points. You've got the Seattle Kraken with 12 points. But CBJ though, geez, man, like another again, like they went and did the esports thing, linking it to the esports team. Last season we saw the Devils gaming team right near the bottom, CBJ down at the bottom. You know, I felt like we tried to like give these teams a little bit of oomph, and you hope that they perform a little bit better than that. But hey, it's 2 weeks, maybe they can turn their season around. There's still time. There's still time, guys. One thing I had was the Red Wings. Red Wings last week went 2-5-2. Were ranked 32nd in the power rankings. This week went 7-2, ranked number 1 on the LG power rankings. So big bounce back week, and that's why we don't overreact after week 1, right? That's the exact reason why we shouldn't be overreacting. Some managers looking to sell the whole system after a week like that, after week 1. These guys got it done, bounced back, 7-2, and then we'll see what happens next week. Maybe they had some good opponents, or maybe they had some really hard ones in week 1. I'm not sure, but shout out to the Detroit Red Wings for a big bounce back week. Love to see that. Love to see that.
Red Wings pitching 3 shutouts on Tuesday as well. I don't know if you saw that.
Shutouts.
Holy
Let's go.
cow. 5-0, 6-0, 8-0.
Have a night. Don't even need the shutouts. You don't even need the shutouts, dude. You're outscoring teams by that much.
Jeez.
That's crazy. But yeah, no. So good for those guys. Big bounce back week. They're still not into a playoff spot yet because of how tough of a first week they have. But you know what? I think this is just this league's just going to be continuously getting more competitive, right? Like we know where, like, we're kind of finding where players are supposed to be, not supposed to be. This season specifically is going to be a big telltale, and I'm really interested to see what next season looks like. Because we have a lot of players, I find, that came back to LG this season. That had, maybe they were really good, and we thought they were going to be really good again, and they're not quite there. This game's new. This game's different, man. Like, it's a lot different. We have PSN, we have Xbox together. It's not this, like, this season coming back is not as easy as would have been in the past, right? So, but I think that, as managers and players, we're starting to really find where we sit, where we should be playing, who should be playing where. And I think, next season, I think it's even going to be tighter. But this season, I think it's going to be pretty good. I think it's going to be pretty good. We're always going to have our bottom teams. We're always going to have probably some really good teams. But that middle group, I think it's going to be tight from now till the end of the season. Go ahead, buddy. What do you got?
None. I was just agreeing with you.
Okay, right on. Anything else on the NHL before we move to the AHL? All right, AHL it is. Big week in the AHL. I've got a note here. There's some big contracts in the AHL that are not performing. That kind of goes back to my point about where guys are going to find themselves. And it's not their fault for having big contracts, right? It's not their fault for having big contracts. But there is some big contract players that are not doing so great. And you can see that on those power rankings that they send out on a weekly basis. One, I hate to call him out because I think he's a great player. but one of them is Luka Bazooka of the Cleveland Monsters getting paid $7 million. He's 1-4-1 minus 13. 1-4-1 minus 13, right? So that's not one bad week. That's back-to-back weeks, right? And it's not easy. There's some other players as well that were kind of on that list as well. Your contract duds. You had Fakey Assassin, who's 5.25, 0-2-1. That Pinpib 1-2-0 at 6.5. Jank of the Rockford Ice Hogs, 7 million, 0-2-1. Clutch at 6.5, 0-3. But yeah, so like just some big contracts and not getting the job done. And I feel like if you're gonna spend that much on guys, you gotta know that it's gonna get done. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm still hesitant in week 2. Again, it's only week 2. I'm still hesitant at this point because I think a lot of the guys that get paid are having to somewhat conform to the line they've been given. I think especially your defensemen, I think those guys will struggle with, especially their records. I mean, minus 13 doesn't look great as a defenseman, but if you're a defenseman, you're 0-3, and you're a minus 4 or 5, you might be looking at your forward saying, "Hey, let's get some goals going here, and maybe get a little bit of that." So I kind of think that might be a little bit of the case.
Hell yeah, dude! Like, and what I'm saying, right, is the managers, right? Like, they're spending money. You think you'd want to invest on this line and make sure that this player is going to have success, right? So if it is what you're saying, and they're not with the right players, why are we not putting these guys with the right players, right? Why are we not?
But I mean, how much are you willing to spend at that point? Because like, okay, maybe you bid up a guy because you think that he alone will be able to carry, a minimum budget line, and when that doesn't happen, okay, so now what? You're gonna throw another 6-7 mil at him? Well, at that point, you're probably taking over half your cap on one line, easily. They better win. And then that better be the end of it. But where does that leave you for the other two lines? Like these big contract guys, I mean, if they can carry a line or even, maybe not so much carry, but like really help those guys, get to the next level, make the people around them better. Sure, they're worth it, but like they can only do so much. You got to learn where people's limitations are on, certain things too. So
Again,
I don't know.
I still say that falls on the manager, though.
Yeah,
Have a
I
plan in
agree.
place. If you're gonna bid these guys up, have a plan in place for them.
Yep.
Right? Like,
I agree.
what happens now? What happens if Luka Bazooka continues to do poorly? Does he have the management group that says, "You're my guy and I'm still sticking with you"? Or are they going to waive him and he's going to get stuck somewhere because nobody has the cap space to take him on? Right? Like, that's the only thing I think of when I think about these big contracts. They're forced to be in this situation. And if you're not winning games at $7 million, I got to try to find something else, probably, right? You got to try something different. But anyways, for me, I saw that and I was like, what the?
The one that came to mind, I mean, you mentioned Jank on that list of busts. He got moved this week. He's a Cleveland Monster now. So bit of a deal that took place there. Jank and Tolerant headed to Cleveland for Ali and Iman. So Rockford getting out of that big contract and making it work, I guess. So who knows?
For sure. We'll keep it with you. Strategies. Notice anything AHL from week 2 you wanted to call out?
I think a lot of teams don't know where they want to be. There are.
I think they all want to be at the top, bro.
I was about to say.
They all want to be at the top. They all want to be at the top, but I don't think a lot of them. Some of them are going to be really good one week, really bad the next, really great the next week, meh the next. There are 5 or 6 teams that I can point out on the standings list where I'm like, yeah, these guys are going to be consistently good all season. Don't, put your house on it, right? No problems. Everybody else, I'm like, this could go really good. These guys, I'm looking at some teams, I'm like, these guys are one move away from really getting things going, or they are one catastrophic trade away from, like, tanking the ship. So I think a lot of, your non-divisional leaders right now, and I'm gonna take out Colorado in that sentence. I think the Colorado Eagles can be put in with those divisional leaders. I think those guys are, you know, victim of the fact that they play in the same division as the Texas Stars. Nothing they can do about that. But everybody else, I think, really need to be careful with the moves that they make, because, you know, there's some trades where you make them and all of a sudden things just click. And that, you know, that's the key to the cog, and all of a sudden things start spinning. But then there's other teams where you make that same trade and the wheels fall off the wagon.
Yep.
And it can be rough. And I mean that goes for pretty much any team, right? But at the end of the day, it seems like the AHL is in a very weird place right now. Speaking of weird places, the Rochester Americans. I came on here, I think, week 1 after bidding and saying these guys looked like an absolute horse in the race. No longer is that a fact. 2-8 in their last 10. Not ideal. Not ideal. A lot of things going on. I think they had a defenseman eat a ban as well. Things are
Maybe it was a forward. I
looking a
see
little
Bagel
rough.
on their lineup now, so they definitely had to call him up. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I agree, man.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see what's going on there. But like again, like you said, there's a couple teams that are like your teams, but I wouldn't say like anyone's really like bad though. Like it's very even
No.
again, right? Like I think this is good for the league. I'm not gonna lie, but you're right. You could be like 1 or 2 moves away, and that's why like as a manager, it's like sometimes it's okay just to have a third line. If you got 1 and 2 winning and you just have a third line, don't make anything drastic. Don't do anything crazy because you need that third line to be that much better. Sometimes it's okay to go 2 really good nights and 1 okay night.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times guys will get carried away with, oh, I got to make this big move to make things happen, and are trading away 2, 3, 4 players at a time. Like, know who you want to move them. If it doesn't work out, figure it out, right? Because there's no need to annihilate 2 of your other lines just to fix 1.
Yeah. RTC, what are your thoughts? Standings are tied, eh?
Yeah. I think this week is where we're going to start to see, a potential picture really starting to form. We'll be a third of the way through the regular season after this week, and it's pretty tight all across the board. Um, One good night can change a lot very quickly. I will say that there's a couple teams that I'm shocked where they are, but that's just it goes to show how good the competition is. And I think McDonald was saying that there was over like 4,000 signups or something like
Yep.
that. That's insane. Um, Obviously it's going to generate a lot closer matchups here. Like I'm shocked to see Lehigh Valley, as low as they are. I do think they're a better team than what their record shows. I Rockford is pleasantly surprising me. They're doing a lot better than I thought they would be. But again, we'll see how they hold up this week. I think I said it last week. We really need the first 3 weeks to get through, and then we can really start to kind of see where these teams are going to start heading. Potential trades that they might be looking for, where the weak point in their game is, etc. So it's going to be really awesome to see how this shakes out, because I think that there's a lot of very, very good teams here where it's just going to be an absolute battle the entire season.
Yeah, I agree. Phantoms though, Phantoms had a much better week too. They're okay. They'll be all right. They had a good week too. But yeah, it's tight, man. It's gonna be good. Like you said, I think you're right. 3 weeks is probably a pretty good number. Pretty good number to kind of get some separation. We'll see. I think most teams will play each other after 3 weeks. Is that right? Does that math add up? You should
I
play
feel like
everybody.
it does.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess in the CHL you'll only play in your league.
I believe
Anyways, but
we've already played everybody in
Oh,
our
yeah.
division at least once, and
well,
I think the
conference.
teams
Like you want to
have.
play every team in the league, though, right? Like you play everybody in the
Oh,
league. There's 32 teams, right?
no. There's 30 teams.
Yeah,
30,
so
no,
that makes
32.
sense.
Yeah,
Play
no,
9 games
32
a week,
teams.
right?
Play 9 games a week, so you're at 27.
-1. So you only 2 teams you wouldn't play unless your schedule is
Yeah,
fucked and you play the same team twice,
yeah,
which you might with some division stuff. I don't know how the schedule works out,
yeah.
but yeah, I think the AHL's been pretty good, man. I think it's been really competitive, and you know, and I did think that Lehigh Valley was better than they were last season. I know there was a little bit of pushback on that, but to see them go through some adversity early in the season, it's good. That's good for the league, man. Those guys were running it last season.
Hmm.
The Rocket even looked a little human after last week. They didn't have a banging week like they did week one, right? So it's good to see that we have some competitiveness in the AHL, and I love it. I love it. I think it's gonna be great. But yeah, then Texas though. Texas is good, man. Those guys are good. They've got it locked in. They score goals, but like defensively, they're tight too, eh, Scrata?
I they are the team right now. We look at last season with the Phantoms and Lehigh Valley. This is going to be another one of those teams where you're going to see them on your schedule and you're thinking, I got to pitch my top guys. I got to pitch my top guys, and the Stars might say, all right, well, we'll roll our whatever Crow wants to call his third line. If it is his third line, do they have a third line? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like they can roll whoever they want and get a win. That's pretty much what we're getting at this point. So I think this is the point in the season. We kind of saw this with Milwaukee last season as well. We're about halfway through the season. Teams started pretty much saying, okay, you're going to get top lined every single game. And we saw kind of that taper off, and we saw the ship really come crashing down the last week of the season and then getting swept in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I think this Texas team is too good for that to happen. But there's always that little inkling in the back of everybody's head saying, well, all right, when does the rest of the league wake up?
Yeah, I love that you say they get top lined. If I'm a manager and I'm like mid and I'm playing a top like a big team and I get the line match, I'm probably throwing my third out there. Fuck that,
You
dude.
think?
Fuck, I'm scared. I'm a scaredy cat, bro. I'm out, dude. Take the loss, eh? I'd rather not have my top line lose. Like, take the loss. Yeah. Okay. Move on. Until playoffs, right? And then until playoffs. No, I mean, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But now AHL is competitive, just like the NHL. I think it was a great week too, and look forward to seeing what happens in week 3. ECHL, guys. We had our first perfect record team in the ECHL in the whole league. First perfect record. The Alaska Aces going 0-9. 0-9 Alaska Aces. This team is not what they were last season. Kettrick did a good job last season having a good regular season, obviously getting swept in the first round. But, oh boy, they are in some trouble right now, and now they've been making some moves. I think they're calling guys up. It's a little bit of a gong show there, trying to figure out what they need to do to make this work. 0-9 last week is not a good vibe in that dressing room, I can only assume.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you win 3 games. You can't expect people to want to stay there or play or do anything, And like, what are you just gonna bitch about the status of the game right now? We get EA. No, your team sucks.
Jesus.
You need to do everything you can to start over. Get rid of everybody and figure it out.
Get rid of everybody. What do you mean get rid of some CHL owners listening
Right.
to this show right now being like, fuck you, RTC. Get rid of everybody. Then they can just call up from their teams. Those poor guys.
I mean, they got a team to run.
Razor Guys is out there somewhere saying, yeah, just get rid of everybody, try again.
Try over. Restart.
Yeah.
So anyways, we got our first perfect record for the week. Out of all the leagues, that was your first one right there. Boom. 0-9, not a 9-0, an 0-9.
Yeah. You said perfect record. I was looking for the green numbers and
Same.
but yeah, I kind of see the issue. So I just kind of went through the standings, everybody. A top 5 worst goals against on the entire site. Things are not going well in Alaska. So
yeah. When we talk about the
yeah.
call-ups there, and I see Facetti's kind of reminded me too, is that there is a rule in place that a CHL team in a season can only have 4 call-ups to a higher level league from their roster. Interesting. It is an interesting move. One, it protects the team because last year, I'm pretty sure it was Alaska, like took like 5 or 6 guys from Kingston. Like Kingston Frontenacs got absolutely screwed over. They still ended up being one of the better teams. But then, like, if I have my 4 call-ups as a CHL manager, after that, I'm making all the moves because I know that I can go get the top dogs in the league and not have to worry about them getting called up. Is that how that works? Because I feel like that's what I would do. Hey, call my guys
I
up. Now I
mean,
can go. I have no worry that this guy's going to get called up because I don't have any more call-ups. You can't call anybody else up from my team.
yeah.
I guess listen, I understand the rule and I also appreciate the rule because you know, owning in the sea once was a terrifying experience. Um
I know.
I I just don't know how I feel about that because if I'm as an AHL manager now, if I first of all, how on earth can I keep track of that? How on earth, as an AHL manager, am I able to see that? I mean, is there like a genuine question? Is there a way that I can see that? I don't think there is.
Yeah, I wonder if
Do
maybe
I
they
just have
like
to
we can
go and
ask. Like,
ask?
I wonder if we ask for a
Yeah.
list, right? Maybe there's a list that they can
Yeah.
provide at some point. Let's hope we don't get there, guys. 4 from one team. There's 60 something
Absolutely.
teams in the CHL. Let's hope
Yeah.
we don't. There's more than that, actually. I think maybe there's 60 something. I don't know. There's like 4
Yeah,
leagues. But anyways,
haven't done
like
the
let's hope
math.
we don't. Let's just hope we don't get there. But I mean, so it could be a thing. And I'm with you. Like I love the idea. Hey, let's protect some of these CHL guys because Kingston got absolutely screwed last season. It was insane.
Yeah.
And then as ECHL owners, or not owners, sorry, general managers. We have an NHL guy that owns us. I'm saying F you to the ECHL managers that are just like mass calling people up. Right?
Yeah.
Like hey guys, stop that because you're screwing the rest of us, right? Like
Yeah.
there's gonna be some bad blood in the managers chat if something like that's happening, right? So 64 teams in the CHL. So
64 teams, and I believe it was Fatty Fischetti saying that there is actually a list somewhere. I'll dig through it and actually go look for it. I haven't even bothered to look for it. I just haven't seen it, so therefore. Anyway, I think it's one of those things. I would be frustrated as an organizational owner, so NHL, AHL, ECHL, anything except the C, basically, where I draft these guys, right? Because there was a TC draft at the end of bidding, and it's week 4. I have a guy take a ban. All right, gotta figure out something there. And this guy who I drafted now can't be called up through no fault of my own.
yeah. I don't know if DPs would be included or not. I don't know. We would need a bog to give us that down low. But
No. I'm saying the ECHL like TC draft.
yeah. Oh, I see what you're
Yeah,
saying.
where you
Yeah.
got your 5. Yeah, you got your 5 dudes.
Got you.
I I would be frustrated by that because it's like, look, I specifically wanted this guy on my TC for this reason exactly, and through no fault of my own, through maybe not even the fault of my peers, I can't get this guy on my team for reasons
Yeah.
kind of arbitrary. So I don't know. I get it. I like the rule as a whole. I like the rule in concept. I think there needs to be some ironing out.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think they're doing the right things. It's like when we have these little changes, it's never going to be perfect right off the hop. We talked about it in our last show, right? We talked about managers, people are going to find ways to exploit new rules 100%, right? Like the Vegas Golden Knights with their cap stuff, Tampa Bay with their cap stuff in the past, right? But like you're going to find ways and we'll just continue to develop and improve on things to make sure that, we make it as clean as possible, right? I think they're doing the right things and yeah, there's going to be some stuff that comes with it, but I think they'll figure it out. I think
So
we're moving the right way.
interesting thing in the chat, real quick. Looks like Fischetti confirming that draft picks and those selected in the TC draft are excluded from that rule.
No, he's saying DPs are not included. They're out. You're good. The
Correct.
TC draft
Oh,
R.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. I read Baker's
So
thing
exactly
wrong.
what you said.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. See, now I'm still not quite a fan of that. I think if it was like that, where your 5 guys who were selected are excluded from that as well, perfect.
Yeah.
I think that's the way it needs to be.
No, for sure. But yeah, I like what they're doing, right? We've managed in the CHL, all 3 of us, right? Like, and it'd be nice to know. I'd rather, hey, somebody call up 4 guys right off the hop at the beginning of the
Yeah.
season. I'll make do with that, and then I'll make the craziest trades ever to get the top guys and not worry about call ups, right? Like, but yeah. Anyways, let's get back to the ECHL. Like, this is a great conversation here. Any notes that you guys had from the ECHL from last week?
It's a battle. It's a battle, and I'm shocked right now. I don't know if there was just like a playoff hangover from last season or what with the back-to-back, seasons and everything else, but like the Growlers, like, man, I mean, they got a lot of returning players in betting. Obviously, re-signed a couple guys, yada yada yada. Lost their last 6 games. Bottom of the standings in the East. Like, what's going on there? This was a top team last season. This was somebody that we were talking about potentially winning the Kelly. And now they're just getting mollywomped, you know? They need a big, bounce back week here. And same thing with the Lions. We talked about them last week, and they just, I mean, sure, they went positive this week, but, what are we talking about? It's time to go. I mean, we got, the Admirals. You guys are taking off because we're beating everybody's ass. 42 goal differential. And what? Most goals in the league, looks like.
Yeah, most goals in the E. I did the math on it. 4.2 goals per game. The Norfolk Admirals, man.
Yeah.
Getting after
I mean,
it.
31 points in the East, and then you got the following 3 teams, second, third, and fourth, all tied at 26 points.
Okay.
I mean, it's close. One good night, you're changing everything up,
Guys.
So
Newfoundland, obviously not where they want to be, but let's just put this in perspective. They're only 5 points out of playoffs in the Eastern Conference.
Oh yeah,
isn't it crazy though? Isn't that fucking crazy to think
it's
that
crazy
the
close.
16th seed, last place, is only 5 points? They're 1 week away from going back into playoffs. Right. I am not worried about these 2 teams yet. I am not worried. These guys are going to figure it out, and the Norfolk Admirals have a serious week ahead of them. The Norfolk Admirals, I am very proud of this team. I think we're doing great. I love it. We've got good vibes. You always have good vibes when you're winning. But we've got some big nights ahead of us on Monday and Tuesday this week. And it's going to be a test. It's going to be a good test. And I look forward to it. But yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. I usually don't get off to this hot of a start. We'll take it. But yeah, no, I think the Eastern Conference, boys, is tight.
Yeah.
Very, very tight.
Yeah, it's exciting to watch. That's going to be just awesome to see. And like I said, I'm going through and taking pictures of everything every week. It's going to be really cool to see how that progresses. See if it stays this close the entire way through. I wonder, in history, like what the tightest it's ever been. From 8th down to 16th. Like what that gap ever was. If you guys can maintain this pace, it would be, I'm sure, historic.
Hey, we got called cheaters the other night in the LG Discord. Love that. Yes. Dude,
that's how you know you made it.
Biggest compliment I've ever had. Bro, I was talking to the boys. I was like, one, I fucking hate that in this LG app, I call it an app, Discord, that we're all mandatory to be in. Teams, people can at teams. So this guy added the whole Norfolk Admirals. You cheating this, that, all over us. Buddy, that doesn't hurt my feelings at all. That makes me feel so good. I have never been a sweat before, and I felt like a fucking sweaty player. I was like, let's fucking go. I was so fired up. Loving it. Keep those coming. I've never been called a cheater at a game before. I was so excited.
Dude,
but it was a lot of fun.
That's how you know that you have moved, you have progressed to a point where you no longer live in your current establishment. You live in that man's head rent-free. Yeah. That is an incredible feeling.
Yeah, yeah, yes, Bakes in the chat. I do have the unlimited stam glitch. He says because in the last game I was getting roasted on my streams because I burned my stam big time. Like I'm pedal to the floor all the time, all game. And Polish was in the chat. Save your stam, Tanny boy. Oh, save your stam. Everyone on me about it. So what did I do? I took a screenshot of that little green bar and I put it over top of my stam bar and I left it there for every game so nobody could see what my stam was. Idiots.
That's pretty good.
Hey, mind your
That's
own
good.
business.
That's funny.
Now I can't do that though because the stam follows my player around.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun this season. The ECHL is just as competitive as the other two leagues, and yeah, I think it's been really good. But yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about Newfoundland. I wouldn't worry too much about the Lions, other than the fact that you have to play them. They are very good teams, and they're going to be very good this season. So I wouldn't be too concerned about where they are in the standings right now. But like the Lions, like week 1, buddy, they only won 1 game, right? So week 2 was a big improvement because they won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they won 6. They won 6 last week. It's good.
6 and 3 week. I mean,
they're back. They're back.
We can allow that.
Right, they're back. Alaska Aces not so back. Nope, not so back for those guys. Nope. But the Kalamazoo Wings. The Kalamazoo Wings are a very, very good team. We play them this week, and I look forward to that match. And that is actually, I believe on Monday night. I don't want to influence anybody, but I believe that game takes place on Monday night. For anybody that's calling any ECHL, AHL, NHL games on Monday nights, that game takes place on Monday night. I just, again, not trying to influence anybody, but just saying. I don't know what time it's at though. I think it's the early game, so I think we get.
It is a 9:35 start.
All right. Anything else on the ECHL, boys?
And lots of trades.
Fucking trades, bro.
Everywhere.
Hey, I felt like this week was a lot of like AHL residual trades, NHL residual trades. I had a trade go through that I had no clue about. I was like, whoa, what the fuck is going on, boys? Let's talk.
Well, like, and Noob School got banned from you.
What?
Yeah.
I just sent him a PM. I need a right defenseman this week, bro. No way. Is that real?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to make it, dude.
No. Damn it.
What I missed?
Noob School Bus got banned. He's on my training camp. Good defenseman to have on my training. My right D training camp was absolutely unreal. Him, NYR 25 fan, I think it is, or fan 25. He's really good. Anyways, whatever. Damn it, Noob. Good dude, too. Good dude.
Yeah.
That's too bad. Inactive, I'd assume.
Probably. I don't know. I had a Discord with him, and he left that as well, so he might just be moving on.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, then I'm just seeing if there is anything else on the ECHL. No, I think we're good. I think there's it's really competitive. I love it. It's a lot of fun. Every night's a little bit of a grind. And then we move to the CHL where we just confirm we have 64 teams in the CHL. Depth is maybe a problem, but not with we have 4,482 signups, by the way, RTC. I went back and took a look at that number. 4,482.
Biggest yet. Biggest yet.
We love that. We love that. CHL, what do you guys got?
I don't know how this staff does it. I really don't. I mean, just today alone, there's been over 100 different and I don't know, not fully transactions, but like warnings, waivers, call-ups, trades, removals, It just keeps going. Like, this is just always so active with all these teams. I don't know how you keep up with it, and then to manage in it and try to figure out everything else. Like, I'm all set, dude. All set on all that.
Yeah, they put some work in. Go ahead.
Real quick, an update on our budget team of the season, the Lethbridge Hurricanes. 5-5 their last 10, but still tied on points atop their division. Remember, this is the team that only spent $10 million in bidding, or currently sat on $20 million of cap space.
Yep, ownership saving his money cheap. They're cheap in Lethbridge. Cheap, but hey, lots of money at the deadline. Lots of money. If they can be competitive, man, all of a sudden, woo, watch out. Watch out for some big contracts.
Yeah.
That's a good update on those guys. Big time. But RTC, you're right, man. Like the work that these bogs put in and the amount of stuff that goes through 64 teams, right? We just see the transactions. We don't even see what's going on in managers chat. We don't even see all the questions that are being asked. I see enough in the ECHL. I can't imagine what the CHL is like. That many teams. And yeah, I mean, the work they put in. Johnny in the chat. Johnny on the Norfolk Admirals. Thank you very much for your contribution to the league, buddy. CHL Bog right there. I had we talked about one team flip-flopping from one week to another, the Detroit Red Wings in the NHL, and then in the CHL, one team that I saw, Halifax Mooseheads. So Halifax did the opposite. They had a great week last week. We're ranked number 3 last week in the power rankings. 3 out of 64. Going 7-2-0 last week. This week, 56th. 1-6-2. So we'll see what this team's made of. That's why, again, don't overreact about week 1. But then also don't overreact with week 2, I guess. If it flip-flops, you don't know where they are. We'll see what week 3 brings for these guys. But some teams, moving, or there's a lot of movement. I think there's always going to be a lot of movement, but I do believe there is some bottom teams that will be bottom teams. The OHL looks pretty tight. I'm not going to lie. The OHL looks actually pretty tight. But yeah, there's just so many teams to keep up with in the CHL.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start looking here. I'm looking at Prince George, 75 goals, 38 against, plus 37 on the goal differential. They look like an absolute horse.
And they had a mediocre week this week, which was crazy.
Yeah, 6-4 their last 10. But yeah, I mean, 13-4-1. They've got 27 points. They sit on top of the WHL by 4 points, but only 2 points above the Red Deer Rebels. Sat in second in their division. Yeah, I'm trying to find some other things in here.
I'll tell you, Prince George has a lineup that is very, very good. I think they actually dropped a game this week, but we played them in a warm-up game, and they were really good, this Prince George lineup. They actually beat us in a warm-up game. So, so I instantly made a trade for their owner, being like, well, if you beat me, come on in, join me, hang out. But yeah, no, they're a deadly line. They got a really good line there for sure. So obviously
the only thing I can do is pray on one of their goaltenders' downfall. But other than that, they look all right.
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
He's got a Cubs logo in his profile picture. What am I supposed to do?
I don't know. Just not judge him based on his profile picture. What the hell?
No, he's been judged. He's been judged.
Jesus. But yeah, CHL rocking and rolling. So many games, so many teams. I'm so, like, honestly, this is the CHL is the league to do media in, guys. Like, this is the league. There are so many teams, so many people that would watch. But like, I think about when I did like the Kahuna's Corner for the CHL and how many games I went through every single night. Oh man, there's like, I can't even imagine going through them all now. It'd be insane.
Yeah.
Because just so you guys know, like when I do my shows, especially early in the season, later in the season is a little bit easier once teams really define themselves. Like I go and open up every single game to see what line's playing what line. So like in the CHL, that'd be insane. That's what 64 teams. So what's that on a matchup? You're 32 matchups per hour or per time slot.
192 games a night.
There you go. So I would open 92 windows.
If you have 64 teams playing 3 games a night.
Yeah, there you go.
Nope.
I would open that many windows. So I was like, no, that'd be too much for my show. But yeah, CHL, all these leagues are buzzing, man. CHL like is like, obviously you have 64 teams. You're gonna have some bottom teams. You're gonna have some top teams. Whereas the other leagues, I feel like are pretty competitive. Like I feel like a lower seed team could beat a top seed team any night with the right lineup. Macaulay says he has 64 trades. No, okay. This season
had 64 trades.
In a past, maybe.
What team is Macaulay? Hold on. Let's dive into this. Because now I'm interested. I am invested in. He's the Cape Breton Eagles. So if we go ahead and filter this
Baby.
by the Cape Breton Eagles, wherever the hell their logo is.
One of the 64.
Yeah. Thank you for narrowing that down.
You're welcome. It's like the second one, actually.
Got it. Right. So,
Not this season.
Jesus Cristo. Oh, I've clicked at it. Right. Dear God.
It's-
Oh, this is insane. This is insane.
They've made 23 trades. They've only made 23 trades.
Yeah, but 23 trades. My head would hurt if I tried to make 23 trades in the span of 2 weeks.
Yeah, 23. Yeah, I don't disagree. It's a lot. But keep
My head
rolling.
hurts thinking about
Keep
that.
rolling, boys. Keep rolling. I love it. Love the trades. Keep them coming. Overreaction week 1, overreaction week 2. Bring on week 3, baby. Let's go. Hey, boys. SNP was back this week. I tried to bring it back a couple seasons ago. We lasted a little bit, but it didn't last very long. But it was back this week. And I think, what was there, 20 teams, RTC? Is that right?
Yep.
It was
Yeah, they
open
had,
for ECHL, CHL, and NCAA.
Correct.
Right on.
And
And how'd it
Loki
go?
and them did a fantastic job. Wow. I mean, it went as good as you can expect. Of course, there was some inexperienced managers and, some bumps and everything else. But for the most part, not bad. Loki and them did a fantastic job. They participated in the tournament as well. Yeah, it was a good time, I thought, overall.
That's good. That's good. And if I'm looking correctly, this looks like maybe you joined and decided to bully your way all the way to the finals and win it. Is that correct? Am I wrong with this?
Yep.
Oh, that's cool,
Saturday
man.
nights are for drinking, and we had a good time.
No, it must have been a great time, dude. Your first competitive game was a 3-2. That's good. Good job. They kept it competitive. Then decided to win 7-1, 5-1, and then scored 9 goals in the finals to win 9-6.
As you do.
It must have been a really competitive tournament for you guys.
Yeah, it was interesting playing against NCAA and some CHL guys. But whatever. I mean, it's for nothing. It's for a good time.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
nobody for the most part got toxic in the chat, which was surprising. There was a few, shit talking moments, but overall, it wasn't anything crazy. It was cool to kind of see the different, tiers come together and play, and just kind of banter back and forth.
No, that's good, man. And shout out to the guys that got that going again, Loki. It's fun, like you said. It's fun. It's a night to get with the boys, put your own team in, and just I mean, it can be fun. It could be just a one game and done, one and done, and you're out. But I did like it. I like that they expanded to ECHL, CHL, NCAA. Personally, for me, I would like to see ECHL, AHL, NHL maybe, or ECHL, AHL, just because I think you have to add, I think, all 3 leagues if you want to get enough players for the higher leagues, because I just don't see a lot of those guys wanting to do it. And when I was running it, a lot of the higher league guys wanted to do draft formats. And for me, I had no interest in trying to learn how to do that stuff because I was limited on learning how to use the site to be able to even set this stuff up. But that was a lot of people were like, oh, I don't want to play bring your own team. I want to do draft. Right. So maybe that's something down the road. Who knows? But to run a night, I think you have to add the 3 leagues together. So I do like that they did ECHL, CHL, and NCAA, but I feel like there's enough players in those other 2 leagues that they could run one there with those 2 leagues. But congratulations, RTC. Congratulations on winning the first SNP back. And again, shout out to the guys running it. You guys did a great job. And 20 teams is huge. Love to see that. What time was the finals at?
I don't remember. I was drinking a lot.
This says 11.
What time did you say? 11?
11:15.
Yeah. Where else would you rather be on a Saturday night than playing in the S&P finals, bud? That's sick. Perfect. Congratulations
time.
to the whole team, not just RTC. Looked like it was a bunch of the boys there, eh?
Yep.
Boston Dangler, Sean Sell, Bad Larry, Doobs the Merc, and who's your goalie? Ted Teddy Bear. Let's go. Let's go. Egan said that you egoed him off of the roster.
Not true.
Not true. Not true.
You
Why?
heard it here first.
Let's go. Let's get
We
into
have
this.
we have a separate Discord, and I made a post. I was like, hey, who wants to play tonight? And he goes like, yeah, I'd probably be down. And then we didn't get him.
That was on
How
Friday
was that?
night. Probably the best
think so,
decision you
actually,
made.
yeah.
Egan was probably already not in shape to play games at the time of the start time, I would assume, on a Saturday night.
There's two different Egans. You can get sober Egan, which is good, or you can get drunk Egan, and it is not great.
Wow. There you go, Eags. Start sober, finish drunk. But Saturday Night Puck, love to see this back. I think this is awesome for the league, and I hope that people participate in it. I will. I didn't. I know I say that and then I didn't, but I will definitely be playing in this next time around for sure. As long as I don't have something on the go. But I did reach out to my team to see if we could get some guys. We didn't have enough guys, but it's a good way to get line practice in, right? Like it's a good way to play with your line on an off night and play a little bit of competitiveness, right? So there was a lot of chat in the Discord, in my Discord today, about draft picks and why do we do it. And I thought maybe it'd be a good time just to have a quick conversation on what we thought about draft picks. Before we have that conversation, I do want to shout out this show because we had a pretty strong stance last week about draft picks, and one of them in which got banned due to getting drafted in the NCAA that he shouldn't have been drafted in. He has been reinstated into the league after last show. So justice has been served. We've got him back. It was a mistake. And I'm glad to see that he was reinstated. I think we did the right thing as a league. And he's back. So just wanted to throw that out there. The people that were in the chat, saying their opinion. We got the people on the show that had their opinion. We got a player back in the league that didn't deserve to be pushed out of the league. So I love to see that. But draft picks, guys, draft picks. What are your thoughts on these, right? Like, I saw some comments about maybe like, hey, if you draft somebody, you send them all the way to the CHL, you shouldn't own them anymore. Your organization shouldn't have the rights to them. Now, I personally disagree with that because, that's if we want to be as similar to like what real life would be, like guys draft guys and send them to CHL all the time. Now, you have them for 2 years. After that, it's done, right? 2 seasons. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on the DP system that we have? I thought it was really exciting this year with it being all CHL players as opposed to just prospects, because there is some DPs that are playing in all the higher levels, like in every tier that you have DPs right now. But I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts are.
Cool concept, but it needs to be refined.
In which way? Talk to me about it.
That's what makes it tough. Like, I'm not even sure. It's something that like continues to be a conflict across so many different, people. Like, when you have that amount of conflict across that amount of many people, it's clear that something needs to change. What it is, I don't know. I really don't. But it's clear that something needs to happen there. And there's too much confusion, too much debauchery. Too many people are like, is this a good thing that I got drafted or is it not? And for that, I don't know. It sucks, Being drafted is something that you should look forward to. And more people are not looking forward to it because they don't even know what it means. Not only do they not know what it means, but the people that they ask, aka their owners or whoever, they don't even know what it means. So I do think it's a cool concept. I do think that it can really help all leagues. It's no secret that there's some guys that hide out in the CHL and they just continuously make it, whatever. Well, now that they're in the draft, they can't hide out there. Yeah, sure, enjoy your last season down in the C, but now you're going up to the A or, N or wherever you rightfully should be playing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's on the right track. Like I said, personally, I don't know what the solution is, but something's got to get done.
Yeah, I was like kind of like reading some of this stuff, right? Like, hey, if they get sent down to the CHL, you lose them. They're not a DP anymore. What about this though? What about this? Because here's what I see. I see like if you get drafted, normally you're going to be a pretty decent player, right? And a guy like Plonk, for example, probably plays in the ECHL. I have 3 right wingers. I had 2 right wingers before bidding started, so like it was a tough one, but he should be on a CHL roster, no problem. That's an easy decision, right? Like he should, no problem. But because he gets assigned after bidding, or maybe pre-bidding, and he can't get called up, now this CHL team that he's going to assign to, they bid on their whole team. Maybe they're happy with their team, but they're nervous, right? Is this DP going to get called up? What's going to happen with this DP? Do I leave him my TC for a while because like I don't want to call him up and get screwed over and then send somebody down and lose them, right? Through like the waiver system. So what if they went into bidding? Okay, what if they go into CHL bidding, but with the DPs would own the salary that they were given if they got called up. So if they get called up, they would get the salary that they would be assigned at the draft, and not the salary that they're bid on in the CHL. I see Scrata thinking about that one.
I don't mind that, but
it gives them a chance to be on a roster right off the hop. But I also don't want my DP to go to 7 million because then I'm never going to call them up.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
It's like a two-way contract.
What if each level that they went, the price increased?
I don't know what that solves.
I think you mean the other way.
Yeah.
The price decreases, so like it derates the farther you go up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like if you draft somebody, right, and then they stay in the end, they're 750. Now you waive them to the A, maybe they jump up to 1 million. You know, whatever the case is. And then and these are just starting prices, you know. And obviously, I don't know. Like I said, I have no idea what the fix is.
Fatty makes an interesting point about the organizations that don't talk a lot and they kind of just put the draft picks wherever. My counter to that is communicate better.
Yeah, and I think that's what he's saying, though, right? Like the teams do need to do that, but I'll tell you, some of them don't.
That's. I feel like that's not hard to ask. It's just say, hey, communicate between your levels and figure out what's best for this guy. Play with it. Get him in the team. And Fatty again, yeah, starts with good, clear communication. Exactly. I think you can only look in the mirror if your draft pick isn't performing at the level you assigned him to. Hey, clearly this guy we got isn't NHL ready. Okay, well, before the season, we've played with him. Let's get him in the A or the E, because they get say I got a winger who just put up 90 points in the C last season. Okay, well, 90 points in the C, what does that kind of equate to in the N and in the A and the E? Okay, well, maybe, hey, let's see how he starts off in the E. We have that conversation ahead of time, say, hey, we want to see how he gets on in the E. If he does really well there, then we'll move him up the ladder. And then in your TC draft, you make sure you have a winger ready to go. So if you start moving him up the food chain, that you have a guy ready to go. That's communication. There are a lot of teams I can tell, a lot of organizations that just don't do that at all. So I think, again, Fatty, another great point. It's literally all comes down to organizational mismanagement that starts from the top. I think a lot of the NHL owners, they might not even understand how the draft picks work. They're just there to manage their team only, and to play their games, which It's fine. I understand it. But when you take NHL ownership, you got to realize that you're, you know, managing your A team, managing your E team, managing a few guys under that. So I think that's where it really comes down to. And um,
Yep.
yeah, I think the confusion and the spite around draft picks comes from bad experiences with poorly organized management teams.
Yeah, and communication's huge, right? Between the organizations. I think it's super important. Like we're all in the same Discord together and it's perfect and it works out really well. We communicate pretty well. And then we did last season as well. And that's why Parksy as an NHL owner has been awesome to have. Been great. Now I do know that there is situations where communication doesn't come down the pipeline very well. And that would be a situation that could hurt a team, right? Like maybe the NHL guy wants to have somebody in the AHL and the AHL team's like, no, I can't have that guy. Or maybe they wanted a guy and they send them all the way down to the CHL. And now they can't get him for another 3 weeks or whatever it is, right? But yeah, no, I think there's some work there. I think we're doing the right things again, and there's always going to be, like we talked about, like bumps in the road as we go. But I think there's some improvements to be made. But I think we'll get there. I think we'll get there for sure.
Yep.
The NCAA guys, NCAA is expanding. I feel like we're making such a difference on this show. I'm just kidding. I know that was not us. That was being talked about before, but another topic that we talked about, right? They're doing an expansion draft. I don't know exactly when the date of the expansion draft is, but it looks like if I'm not wrong, it looks like they're going to do 10 more teams
Next Friday.
Next Friday. Is it 10 teams? 10 teams.
Confirmed.
That's huge.
That's awesome.
That also
That's
tells
awesome.
you how many players there were left out.
Well, and I mean, not for nothing, those guys deserve it. You know,
Hell yeah.
like the NCAA has kind of been, quote unquote, laughed at, since it's basically come back. What now? 2 seasons ago. And I mean, the dude that's doing the media over there, that play calling, he's in a suit, dude. He's all jacked up, Mezcat. I mean, they're a fully functioning, operational league. Yeah, sure. Obviously, the talent pool isn't, the sexiest thing that we've ever seen, but like, good for those guys. Way to show up and do what you got to do and force the league to let you play. I mean, that's what you get when you have that many people that are that active. You force them to do something, and good for all of you guys.
Yeah. And the managers that stepped up to decide that they wanted to take on those teams.
Absolutely.
Shout out to you guys as well. Can't be done without those guys. Can't be done without the staff. I think everything's coming together. And let's be careful. NCAA, we said we need to find a way to give it some spark, some oomph to make it a little bit more appealing. Guys, when we combine PSN and Xbox, everything shifted, right? Everything shifted. So the NCAA is not what NCAA used to be. It's not a scrub league, that's for sure. Like there's some good players that are still finding their way into that league. And I love that we're gonna have more teams. I love that there's people calling games. Shout out to the Mezcast behind the net. Those two guys will be casting every game night by the sounds of it. So make sure you take a look at that if you are in the NCAA. Yeah, big shout out to those guys. And the NCAA is all the way back, guys. It is all the way back. And like a team like the Arizona Sun Devils wasn't chosen off the hop and they're part of the expansion. That's sick. I would pick that team all day. And then you just set up the the Arizona Coyotes as your rink because that's actually their rink. It's perfect.
That's yeah.
But hey, you mentioned it already. The forums have been great. I don't know if you guys have been reading them all, but the forum posts have been unreal. We talked about the ones in the NHL. There was one in the ECHL as well that was done extremely well by Costy, I believe it was. Is that right? Very, very good. Well done right up. And I'm seeing these pop up all over the place. This is great.
Awesome.
This is awesome. And if we can keep them going, makes things even better, right? Consistency is so important. If you are interested in doing more media stuff, please reach out to me. We need people for the CHL for sure. And anybody that wants to get involved is interested in doing like the write-ups and stuff too. I promote the hell out of that stuff because it's great work. And I thought these have been unreal, like very, very well detailed, a little bit of fun in them too. And people are reading those. People know where to see them, so it's awesome. And I'll make sure that I try to push as many people over to those as I can when I get that opportunity. But I wanted to give a shout out to those guys doing the media and forum posts because they've been great. They've been awesome. I don't know. That's all I have for what we had today. I don't know, Scarata, any closing comments, any thoughts, anything we missed?
I think we pretty much hit on freaking everything. I don't think we missed a single beat. So onwards and upwards.
Yeah,
Right.
for it's not as structured. I mean, we go over a plan before every show and everything, but like I think for the most part we're doing pretty good. I mean, what we held over 100 viewers for most of the show. The chat was always engaging. Chat's always fun. They help us out when we don't know something. We got a couple blogs in here, directors to help us out. It's awesome when we have so many people engaging in this. It makes it, it makes the work seem not nearly as much like work.
Hell yeah.
So week 3, 1/3 of the way after this week. Good luck, everybody. And hopefully my green screen works next week, but I doubt it.
Yeah. So a couple notes here before I close this out. 1, game calling this week. We've got game calling. We talked about it already. We've got Mezcast and Behind the Net doing some game calling NCAA. Make sure you're checking that out. Absolute electric streams. Love it. Monday Night Hockey will be back this week. Scarata, make sure you give me a thumbs up if that's the case.
50-50.
Whoa, God.
50.
Dude, we're closing out the show and you just did that to me. We're closing the fucking show out. That's an easy transition out of this show. Hey, let's go through our 50-50, the guy says. What do you mean 50-50?
Give me 50 and give me 50.
No.
Okay.
All right, so we've got maybe Monday Night Hockey. If not, you're going fishing?
Let's reel it in a little bit.
You're going fishing.
50-50. No, not at all.
Oh.
I don't fish.
I thought that's what that was.
Let's reel in the reaction.
All right.
It's all right. Everything's fine.
All right.
It's all good.
Monday, maybe Night Hockey will be partaking this Monday, maybe, potentially. We will promote it if it is happening. We will. If not Monday, will there be another night, Scarata?
Maybe not this week, but potentially we'll be back the following if it doesn't happen. So
okay. All right.
Not going away.
More news to come. Follow Kahuna's Corner. That will happen this week. Tonight, I will do a show. Tomorrow, I will do a show. And Tuesday night, I will do a show. Last Tuesday, I couldn't do it, but I did a write-up anyways. We'll be on Monday Night Hockey Watch on the Kahuna's Corner. But yeah, lots of write-ups. Make sure you're checking them out. Hey, Facchetti, you're a stud, buddy. Thank you so much for those. Appreciate the support. As always, and Facchetti has confirmed that he shipped my WJC trophy from not this past one, the one before. And as soon as that gets here, I am going to gas so many beers out of that thing, and we're going to have so much fun on the stream, and I can't wait for it. But, boys, week 3, we had our first little technical error. Good job. We got through it. Appreciate the hell out of both of you guys. This is fun. I'm loving this. Kahuna's Corner is great, but I'm always by myself. It's way more fun with people. This is the best. It makes me not even want to do Kahuna's Corner anymore, just for the record. But hey, have a great rest of your Sunday, gentlemen. Chat, people watching, have a great Sunday, have a great week, and we will be back next week, same time, same place. Take care.